So you got married, raised a family in Norway, and your dad had this organization he started called Europe I Fokus.
Europa I Fokus, yeah, correct. Yeah.
And really your dad had pioneered a ministry. And so how did he end up coming to Romania? I mean, he's living in Spain, from Norway. How did Romania hit the radar?
The story was that he was, I get back to Norway in 85. I was 17 and a half with my sister that was one year younger than I was. And she and I, we just had to, we lived with our uncle and aunt and uncle, and so we were there for a year, 2 years before they came back to Norway. So my little sister was still with them. So my father opened a school back in Madrid with 400, a capacity of 400 on the big sale, and then, but also had a capacity of 40 students.
Okay.
So he started that, and after that he gave it over to the gypsy people in Madrid, and then they went back to Norway.
Okay.
And then he had it was difficult for him because he had this call, and he was not doing what he went back to his former business, but it was nothing for him. He was out of it for 20 years almost.
Yeah.
And then he still had this call. So he started he bought himself a car, this mobile home, and he went through Europe, then just following his faith and his call, and he was traveling a lot for the gypsies, with the gypsies.
Okay.
And then Ceausescu fell in 89.
Yeah.
So when that happened, he just had this call that he had to go and see how his people had it here. And then he came to the streets, he came to Gara del Nord, and he saw all these children that were living on the streets. That's back in 94. He came here, 93 was here for the first time. And then his heart just took, the country took his heart.
Yeah, yeah.
And the people took his heart. And then he made this big, I don't know, in the media of Norway and Sweden, it just became this immense hype, because they saw those small children on Gara del Nord with -20, without clothes, without food, without everything. And my father said, we have to do something. And then a lot of people just followed and called him and said, we want to do something for these kids. So then we opened Vieta Silumina. So he was the founder of that, and he was the founder of the day shelter they had back around Gara del Nord, where we dealt out clothing. We had doctors coming down. We had all this food giving out every day, and that just grew, and he had this center for people over 18, and he developed a lot of in other places in Romania too, but still it started here, and we have been here since 1994.
Wow. 25 years.
25 years.
Wow. And what is similar, it was at Gara del Nord that I first came over to Romania with my dad. It was three years after that, or a few years after, and it was a life-changing experience, because when you see kids living in that environment, you can't help but want to do something to respond. You want to do everything you can to help. And I'm thankful your dad answered that call and was willing to do something about it.
And at that time, it wasn't many here. We had 2 or 3 organizations working, but remember, it was 3,000 people living around Gara del Nord without anything. And they just was sent out of orphanages because the state didn't have any more money. They were closed down, and there were no structure of how to take care of those children. And then, so it had to be private entrepreneurs that wanted to do something for these children, and many of them were from the gypsy community. So they didn't have any support by the Romanian people. They didn't have any support by the European community because they didn't care. So it has been that for many, many hundred years. And I think 80-90% of the people that came out from there were gypsies. So it was his call, so he could find back to that call he had when he went to Spain and back in '73 and see that he was used for something. So being there, and then we opened a lot of different shelters around Bucharest and also different parts in Romania for the gypsy population.